Ding dong YouTube, welcome back to the channel. The Jobless Coder here. And today I was actually listening to a podcast from a few weeks ago. It was part of the Create Unknown podcast as recorded by Kevin Lieber. And in it they were talking about, well, several different things, but they were talking about something which I'm going to dub the paradox of positivity. Now, what this is the idea that the more positive reinforcement that you receive from either your friends or your family, your work colleagues, the worse it actually makes your situation because you don't know where you could improve upon what it is that you're doing. And during the podcast, they joked around that this is like next level meaning of life type of stuff. I don't know if it's that important, but I think it's definitely something that has impacted me in my own life. And what it really breaks down to is the idea that you learn from your mistakes. And so if you think of it in that terms, in that perspective, when somebody gives you criticism on what you've done, it's technically pointing out your mistakes. So if all you get is positive reinforcement, then you're never going to learn how to improve because nobody's going to tell you what you're doing wrong or that you're even doing something wrong to begin with. I can think of several examples of this, but I'll give you one. I played the alto saxophone for 8 years in school. I was in the music program through my entire education, from kindergarten all the way until I graduated. But in grade 5, I started playing the saxophone on through to grade 12. And my high school band teacher is somebody that absolutely would not take no for an answer. If you were falling behind, if you were showing up late to practice, if you were not bringing your A game, then you had to improve yourself. And he wouldn't just tell you, oh yeah, you're doing great and wonderful, even if you're not. No, he'll tell you these are the things you need to work on, and he even would be willing to pull you from concert if your performance is not up to par just hours even before the concert begins. And that being said, he was also able and willing to point out where you excelled and shined in your performance. And I think it comes down to a balance of the both. And that was one of the things that Kevin Lieber mentioned during the podcast, was that it has to be a balance of both. You need to get both the positive reinforcement so that it gives you the motivation to continue on and understand that you're actually making progress, but you also need the negative criticism to point out where your flaws are and where you're falling behind. And I think a big part of where I find myself now is that I did not receive enough criticism on the things that I did in my younger years. It didn't matter whether I was building something in shop and construction class, working on some art project, making some website or app or game, some piece of software. It didn't matter what I was doing. Every single person who had a look at it basically told me that it was pretty awesome. And I was told by friends and teachers, family, my peers, the next door neighbor's dog, that I was going to be the next Bill Gates because they saw that in my potential. And that's all fine and dandy to build a grandiose vision for yourself and what you want with your life. But if you don't have somebody to reel you back and say, look, your stuff is actually not as good as it could be, these are the things you need to work on to improve it, then I just plow ahead thinking that everything's sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. And now that I'm out in the real, quote unquote, the real world, trying to showcase my talent and my skills and my abilities to people for the purposes of getting a job, I'll show them my games and my websites, and it's always, oh, it doesn't look that great, it looks like it's from 2009, it's outdated, it didn't build it that well, there's bugs, there's errors, whatever, because they're not going to give me the positive reinforcement. Well, even if they know me, they may not give me the positive reinforcement, but a stranger who you've never known before, you just met, isn't going to lie to you, because what do they gain from it? They're going to tell you your stuff is shit if it's shit. And I think that was a sudden wake-up call for me, to go from everybody telling me that I was awesome and everything I did was awesome to the exact sheer opposite, where I get out in the, like I said, quote-unquote real world, and people basically don't like the things that I build, or the art that I make, or the music that I play, or whatever it is. And it's important to take that criticism and internalize it and learn upon it so that I can better myself. But like I said, it's like a balance between the positive and the negative. And if you don't have that balance, then it can lead to states of depression. And then you start thinking, well, in nothing you build, nothing you spend your time investing in is even worthwhile, including like right now, these YouTube videos that I make. I have no idea if it's worthwhile or if anybody gets any actual value out of it, but I do it anyways because I might as well try. And I've always personally considered myself to be a perfectionist in every single thing that I do and I create. And that comes in tandem with my mental illness. It's the only, I would say, positive side to it is that when I put my work or if I put my effort into my work, it looks professional, at least from my perspective. Whether it's the art that I make, or I try to make it as professional looking as I possibly can. And it's weird because it's a selective trait. It's something that it's only pertaining to the things that I build or the stuff that I produce. I put the professionalism in it. Whereas other aspects of my life, I just don't care. I don't care about the way I appear or the clothes that I wear, how I dress. I don't care about the appearance of my living habitat or whatnot. I mean, you can look around here and see it's an absolute mess back here. And I've had several comments on several videos about to close the cupboards or clean up the mess, and I just literally don't care because that's not where my effort is focused upon. It doesn't bother me. It may bother one or two people in the comment section, but I don't spend the energy or the time effort to go and clean that shit up because it's not where I need to put my focus. My focus is on my work. And yeah, you could say it would take you 5 or 10 minutes to do that, to go and clean it up. It might be longer than 5 or 10 minutes, but that's 5 or 10 minutes or half an hour or an hour out of my day that I don't have for other things that I value more importantly. But because it's so recent in my experience that I'm receiving all of this negative criticism on what I need to do to improve myself, look better, you name it, because it's so recent, it's very hard because I'm a person who is set in my ways. And if I've been going 18, 19, 21 years of my life under the impression that the stuff that I build and create is good, only to have the world drop a rock on my head and tell me that it's actually not, it's kind of a shocking wake-up call. And I don't really think there is an exact answer between how much is the right amount of positive reinforcement and how much is the right amount of negative criticism. And I was hoping to maybe create a discussion here, and you can go ahead and feel free to leave a comment in the comment section before. But where do you think the balance lies between the positive reinforcement that you get from your friends and family and the negative criticism that you need to better yourself for the future? And one of the things they actually talked about in the podcast was a quote or something from Morgan Freeman, although they don't think it was actually from him, saying that you shouldn't regard the criticism from I'm paraphrasing, you shouldn't regard criticism from somebody you wouldn't ask for advice. And they said that's actually a really bad, terrible idea, because the people you would ask for advice are your friends and your family, your mom and dad. And like they said, your mom and dad are never going to tell you your stuff is awful. They're always going to support you. So you need to look at the criticism you get from people that don't care about how you feel, because they're going to be the most honest, and it's going to be brutally honest, but it's going to tell you how you can better yourself. And I think that's all I have for this video. That's not a lot more I have to say on it, but if you want to continue on or talk more about it, then feel free to go ahead in the comments section. And thank you for watching this video. Bye.